Welcome back to another Pokemon Throwback Thursday, where every Thursday morning we take a deep dive into a vintage set. We're going in complete order. So the set we are checking out today is XY Evolutions. And I had so much fun doing that Gardevoir tier list last Thursday where we literally ranked the best Gardevoir cards in Pokemon history, that instead of checking out a new Pokemon and their prices today, we're going to be doing a Charizard tier list because we already checked his best cards. So yeah, we're going to be ranking the best Charizard cards, and I'm also going to be talking about which cards I think are undervalued and could possibly be a good pickup or a good investment. And I want to do a little thank you giveaway for you guys just watching my Throwback Thursdays. It really means a ton. So we're going to be giving away a Shadowless Porygon and a Shadowless Dugong. To be entered, all you have to do is make sure you subscribe. You have to hit that notification bell. You got to hit that like. And then I want you to answer the question of the day. So for today's question, where do you guys rank the new Dream EX set? We just got a ton of new reveals. You guys can go check out my Instagram or PokeBeach. But yeah, where do you rank it in the Scarlet and Violet and Mega Evolution era? Is it number 1, number 2, number 3? Let me know down below. And I will be doing a tier list this Sunday of all of these Scarlet and Violet and Mega Evolution sets. It's been a long time and I'm very excited. And we do have to give a big thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is ARIZONATCG. If you guys have a bunch of graded cards you're looking to sell, but you do not want to deal with a bunch of people lowballing you or having to ship cards out every single day, then ARIZONATCG is perfect for you. You just send them all your graded cards and they handle everything. They're going to take professional scans, which makes a huge difference. Then they're going to post it to their massive weekly eBay auction, and you have full control. You can change it to buy it now. You can let it go on the auction, and they always got some banger cards. They got the Umbreon VMAX, the Umbreon EX, Rayquaza VMAX, and they even have the Lance's Charizard, which I would take over these three in my opinion, but I'm more of a vintage guy. And until the end of the month, they are doing 50% off your very first submission with the code BEARD at checkout, so definitely do not miss out on that, and you want to get your cards in there ASAP. So definitely check them out. I'll have all the links in the description. And also, if you guys are going to grade through PSA for your very first time, click my link, and you get $25 off if you use the code BEARD25 at checkout. And then, of course, the Binder Bell merch. All right, we got XY Evolutions. This came out November 2nd, 2016. 108 cards plus 5 secret rares. This is one of the most overprinted sets of all time. This thing sat on the shelves for literally like 4 years, probably 3.5 years. And they put it in so many different collection boxes. They could not get rid of this set. But when it came out, it was pretty popular because it did come out in 2016, which Pokemon Go came out in 2016. And we did get a reprint of Charizard, so people could actually go back, and be nostalgic and go chase that base set Charizard. So it was actually super fun when it came out. But there's a lot of people that do not like it. So we'll check out the best cards here. We got a ton of Megas. We got the full arts, the Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. We got some half art Megas. We got a beautiful full art gold Dragonite EX and the gold border full art Mewtwo EX, Misty's Determination. And there is 2 Charizard base set reprints. We got a holo and a reverse holo, which is kind of cool. They're pretty affordable, $55 raw for the reverse, $62 raw for the holo, depending on condition. But we got a bunch of reprint cards in here. As you can see, we got the Mewtwo, Surfing Pikachu, Raichu, Gyarados from base set, Flying Pikachu, that's a Black Star promo, Nidoking, Ninetales, Zapdos. So, if there were people that just got back into the hobby, this was a super fun set to open. And we also got break cards. I wish they would have gave us a little bit better secret rares. Like these were our secret rares, which are kind of cool and unique, but I do wish, we got something a little bit crazier. But as you can see, the total set value is only $892. That is definitely on the lower end. So most of the cards are very affordable, honestly, like $50, $60 or less. The full art Mega Charizard can definitely be a little bit over $100. And we're going to check out some PSA 10 prices. So we got the Misty's Determination, $108. Very affordable for Misty. Next, we have that full art gold bordered Mewtwo EX. Last sold in a 10, $329. And we got that gold Dragonite, last sold in a 10, $330. And the Mega Blastoise EX. Really like the pink on this card for some reason. Last sold for this, $288. And the Mega Venusaur EX full art for $300. And then we have the full art Mega Charizard. Last sold in a 10, $655 and $700 before that. And then here's that half art Mega Charizard. Last sold in a 10, $167, $208 before that. And now we're getting to the big bucks. We got the reverse holo base set Charizard. So last sold in a 10, $655. And before that, $759, $820. The print quality for this set was terrible. Right, next we got the Holo Charizard. Now last sold 2400, 22, 2K, 23, 19. Now this card's very tough to grade. That's why the 10 is so expensive. It has a low pop. But you would think this would be it. You know, that's all the base set Charizards that we got for XY Evolutions. But there is one more, and it's way more expensive. They got a staff version of this card with the XY Evolution stamp on there also. Last sold in a 10, $12,000, 10K before that, then 11, then 99, 15K in 2024. And I also think this Charizard also sold for a lot more back in the day. I want to say it's high. I'm just guessing because it's been a long time since I looked, was like 8 grand or like 10 grand or something like that. But yeah, that staff card is very expensive. We got a grade 7 here at 927, grade 8 at 1700, grade 9 at 2300. It says ungraded at 1500. So very, very spendy. Now we got some sealed products. Here's the XY Evolutions booster pack. Still doing very, very good. Last sold 50, 42, 38, 50. There's actually a decent amount of sales for this XY Evolution set on TCG Player, which is surprising for how old it is. Next, we have the Kanto Power Collections. And like I mentioned earlier, there's 100 different collection boxes that have XY Evolutions, but I did not add all of them. We got the Kanto Power Collection because this is pure XY Evolutions, 10 booster packs. Here's the Dragonite one. Last sold 464, 449, and 425. We can get it shipped right now for $500 on TCG Player. And here is the Mewtwo one. Same exact box. Last sold 452 and 500. And we can get this one shipped also for $500. Next, we have the Elite Trainer boxes. So here is the XY Evolutions Mega Charizard Y box. It's the red one. Last sold $699, $550, and $532. We can get this shipped on TCG Player right now for $617. Next, we have the XY Evolutions Mega Blastoise one. So last sold for this box is $490, $499, $500. And I'm guessing we can get it shipped for $500. And then we have the XY Evolutions booster box. Last sold for this, $1750, $1743, $1730, and a decent amount of sales. I mean, we got 5 sales here just in this month. All right, let's get into the Charizard cards. So I kept thinking on how I should do this because there's so many Charizard cards, and you got to think there's full arts, there's rainbows, there's gold cards, but they don't really compete with a lot of our special illustration rares and alternate arts and stuff. So we're going to mainly focus on the alternate arts and special illustration rares, but we are going to talk about the rainbows, gold cards, full arts, and then of course our vintage grails down here at the bottom. We always have to mention them, but we'll talk about them at the end. All right, we're going to be starting off with a Japanese exclusive. This is one of the coolest Charizard cards we've ever gotten, where he is actually fighting Venusaur, and they're like actually in the middle of the fight. Now, that's kind of where we got the Charizard V card from Brilliant Stars. I'm putting this up in the best, especially that it is a Japanese exclusive. Just makes it that much cooler. Next, we have the XY Black Star promo, where Magmar and Flareon are in the card. I am also putting that up in the best category. All right, next we have the Reshiram and Charizard card. I do think this tag team is very messy. If you like sit down and really look at it, it looks nice, but it's definitely probably the messiest Charizard card we've gotten. I'm going to put it in good for now. In my opinion, I feel like they kind of dropped the ball for some of these tag team cards, but I really like this Reshiram and Charizard GX tag team here, the non-textured one. I actually like this art a lot more than the full art textured one, but I'm going to put them right next to each other for now. Next, we have the Charizard and Braixen GX tag team. Again, another one that is not my favorite. This is the textured one. I'm going to put it up in decent for now. And this one's a little bit better, the non-textured one. So I'll put that up in good for now. And again, we will be moving a ton of this stuff around. Next, we have the Charizard Trainer Gallery card. I think this is one of the cutest Charizard cards we've ever gotten. I'm going to put this card up in great. Next, we have the Charizard V from Brilliant Stars, where he is fighting Venusaur. I'm putting this up in the best. No question about that. Next, the Charizard V-Star. Now, I'm making a little hate for this. These cards are not my favorite. I do love the Mewtwo V-Star and the Charizard V-Star. I love how they connect. But the art style isn't my favorite. So I'm just going to put this in great for now. I might move it down to good. Next, we have the Charizard VMAX. So this is basically the Godzilla Charizard. Now, I pretty much don't like any of the other Charizard VMAXs, but this one is very, very legit. I'm going to put it up in great for now. Next, we have the Sleeping Charizard V, and I just love how Venusaur is also in this card. And as you can see, these 3 cards, they go together. We got Charizard fighting Venusaur here on the Japanese exclusive. Then we have Charizard V, where he's fighting Venusaur again. And then we got the Aftermath right here. So these 3 cards, I think, are some of the best Charizard cards we've ever gotten. Next, we have the Obsidian Flames Charizard. Now, I definitely feel like this is one of the worst ones if we're just talking about just the actual alternate arts and tag teams and stuff. And now we have the Paldean Fates one. I do like the Paldean Fates one more, but I still think it's one of the worst. I think it does look a little cooler with the black and red. Next, we have the 151 Charizard EX. Now, a ton of people hate that there's like no neck on the Charizard for some reason. It, bugs a ton of people, which, I get it, but I do like how it connects. So I'm going to put it in good for now. And then we have the brand new Mega Charizard EX. This is probably the best Charizard card we've ever gotten art-wise, in my opinion. It's got Charmander, Charmeleon, the actual Charizard, and Mega Charizard. And I think we are going to be getting a new Mega Charizard Y special illustration rare too, which would be crazy. But these are pretty much all of the actual alternate art cards that we've gotten for Charizard. It's all that were on the list anyways. So let's take a little peek and see if we want to move anything around. I'm pretty happy with the best tier, to be honest. I mean, all 3 of those arts, they're kind of telling a story. They got more than one Pokemon in them, which I enjoy. I know not everybody enjoys that, but I'm a big fan. Next, we have Great. We have the Trainer Gallery Charizard, the Charizard V-Star, Charizard V-Max. I feel like this Trainer Gallery Charizard is so underrated and pretty undervalued in my opinion. Then we go down to good. We got the Messy Tag Team Reshiram and Charizard. We have the non-textured one. And then we have the Charizard and Braixen non-textured tag team with the Charizard EX from 151. Then we have Decent, the Charizard and Braixen GX tag team with texture, and the Paldean Fates Charizard EX, and for the worst, the Obsidian Flames Charizard. So now I'm going to think here for a second and see if I want to move anything around. I'm going to actually move this Charizard from 151 up to great. I just love how it connects with Charmeleon and Charmander. And when you really think about it, there's no other card on this list here that does that. We do have other Charizard cards that do that, but not in beautiful illustration rares and stuff. So, that's pretty special. Plus, it's in the 151 set, which brought back millions of Pokemon fans. So the card is pretty special when you really think about it. And the short neck thing never really bugged me at all. All right, and remember, this is just my personal opinion based off the arts that I like. Everybody has different art styles that they like and stuff. But I do think some of these Tag Team Charizard cards are still pretty undervalued and underrated, even though, they're not in the top tier, but they're better than pretty much most of the full arts and stuff, which we're going to talk about here in a second. Just double checking to see if I want to move anything around. But all right, I think I'm going to leave that for now. I'm still going to think. But now when we're talking about like rainbows and stuff, I definitely think the Tag Team Rainbows right here, Charizard and Braixen, and the Reshiram and Charizard Rainbows are the best rainbows we've ever gotten in Pokemon history, not just for Charizard, but just all around Pokemon. And then same with this promo here. This card is still very affordable, the Reshiram and Charizard Gold GX promo. And then they also do have the full art to go with, but in my opinion, if you had the full art, the gold, and the rainbow all in like PSA 10s, that would be such a sick collection. And same thing with the Charizard and Braixen, they just don't have that gold. And then too, you can even think of like Mewtwo and Mew, where they even have a Japanese exclusive that goes with it too. And we got the new Mega Charizard X here. Let's put this up here and see where it ranks up at the top. I mean, I kind of like this more than the Obsidian Flames Charizard because, to be honest, this just really feels like a full art to me. So I'd rather have that. But art-wise, I feel like it would end up in decent just because it is, half of Charizard, basically a bust of Charizard with the gold. But this is definitely the best gold Charizard we've ever gotten, and this is the best rainbow Charizard we've ever gotten, so we'll go throw these up at the top at the best. And I do almost want to put this gold Charizard up there too. I just, it's a promo, so it's not like super rare or anything like that. Now, if we're talking just regular full art, it's tough to say the Mega Charizard X, the brand new one, does not take the cake because it does have the regular Charizard in there too. Crazy color. I think it beats, all these regular V full arts and even some of these GXs here. I mean, that's a shiny and that's a rainbow. And technically the new Mega Attack Rare, in my opinion, is kind of just a full art. But I'm not a big fan of the art style on that and the big word across. So yeah, it's tough. I think the best full art, honestly, is the Tag Team also. If we're talking just regular full art. I mean, that's really tough to beat right there. Now, if we're talking about the best shiny full art, I've always been a much bigger fan of the Charizard V from Champion's Path over the Hidden Fates Charizard, even though the Charizard GX from Hidden Fates is worth a lot more. But I like how this Charizard is actually black and red. So these right here are my favorite. We got the Reshiram and Charizard GX Tag Team Full Art, the Rainbow for the best Rainbow, the new Mega Charizard X Gold card for Golds, and the Charizard V for the Full Art Shinies. That is probably it for just the full arts. See, I'm actually going to run through a few cards here that I think are still very undervalued and great pickups, like the Charizard and Breaks and GX Tag Team Rainbow. That card is beautiful, and the full art, and, you know, of course, the Reshiram and Charizard GX Tag Team Gold promo. Even the Rainbow Charizard V-Star from Brilliant Stars. This card is very, very tough to pull, and, you know, it's a Rainbow card, and it's Charizard. Still very affordable. Special Delivery Charizard, one of the most unique cards we've ever gotten, and I don't hear anybody ever talk about it anymore. I feel like that's a very solid pickup. And that's probably it for more of the modern type cards. Now let's talk about some vintage grails. We got the base set Charizard. This is the Shadowless. There's a first edition and unlimited. We have Blaine's Charizard first edition and unlimited. Same with Dark Charizard. Same with Shiny Charizard. We have the Crystal Charizard and the Gold Star Charizard. So right here, these are the 6 big boys. Now, if I were to rank them, it's tough, but I got to do base set up at the top just because it's original. It's the most iconic. Blaine's Charizard, not my favorite art. I'm going to put Team Rocket down at great. Blaine's Charizard down at good. Now, I'm just talking art. I'm trying to ignore value. I do think the Shining Charizard has some of the worst art for some of the grails. It's just so hard to even see. And he has his butt to you and everything, so not my favorite. Then the Crystal Charizard, this card is goated, and the Gold Star. Let's see where we're going to put those. I'm going to put Gold Star up at the top. I think that card is sick. And then for Crystal Charizard, I'm going to put this up by the Dark Charizard, and I think that should be it for the grails. So yeah, that's where I would definitely rank the grails. I mean, we can move the Shining Charizard up to decent, but I just think it's the worst of those 6 arts for sure. And the Gold Star Delta Species, that art's crazy. If I'm actually doing art, I'm moving base set down, and then I'll move Shining down here. Then Blaine's Charizard, then Team Rocket, and yeah, I'm going to put the Crystal Charizard down here. So yeah, that's how I would have the whole setup. But alright, that was today's Pokemon Throwback Thursday. You guys know what to do. Comment, like, all that, join the giveaway. And I want you guys to have a great day. And if you guys want to watch my last Pokemon What If Wednesday, which was crazy, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.